Tonight with a public appeal for missing British backpacker Grace Millane. A short time ago, police held a press conference to appeal for sightings of the 22-year-old who has not been seen since 7:15 p.m. on Saturday night.
Thank you for coming today. As you know, Grace has been missing for several days. We last had contact with her on Saturday the 1st of December. And as a family, we've been extremely concerned for her welfare. Grace is a lovely, outgoing, fun-loving, family-orientated daughter.
I remember putting Grace in the suitcase. I was just in shock the whole time.
What if you planned the perfect getaway? A solo adventure to discover the beauty of one of the safest countries in the world? And what if, while exploring this unfamiliar world, you connected with someone online? They seemed charming, funny, maybe even a potential life partner. Now imagine finally meeting face to face only to realize you're trapped in a situation far more sinister than you could ever imagine. In today's video, we dive into the case of Grace Millane, a vibrant young woman from Britain whose dreams of world travel were cut tragically short. Join us recount the story of the Tinder Date Killer and the devastating consequences of misplaced trust. Grace Millane, a vibrant 22-year-old from Essex, England, was the embodiment of a free spirit.
Grace Millane was a 21-year-old girl from Essex. She had just graduated from uni. She had a marketing degree in 2018.
Born into a loving and supportive family, she was the daughter of David and Gillian Millane and had two older brothers. She grew to be a talented hockey player and a gifted artist, and it wasn't long before she graduated with a degree in marketing. Her thirst for adventure led her to embark on a backpacking trip after graduation. Having already spent 6 weeks in South America, her next stop was New Zealand, a country known for its breathtaking scenery and friendly locals. Meanwhile, on the other side of Auckland resided Jessie Shane Kempson. Kempson's past was riddled with disturbing allegations, domestic violence, controlling and manipulative behavior in relationships, and a track record of deception. Yet in the world of online dating, Kempson became a chameleon. He painted himself as a successful businessman, flaunting fabricated wealth and status as bait. Like many young travelers, Grace turned to dating apps to connect with new people in a foreign land. A swipe right on Jessie Shane Kempson's Tinder profile sparked a series of online exchanges. His carefully crafted profile showcased images of a seemingly adventurous life.
Jessie's family painted this picture of him as being a bit of a complex character. He had fallen out with his dad 2 years previously, and he wasn't really talking to much of his relatives at the time. His grandfather made this comment. He said he was a really nice kid, but he would just constantly fall out with people.
Conversation flowed easily between them, fueled by shared interests and apparent common ground. In other words, they had what most single people longed for: chemistry. The day of December 1st, 2018, just before Grace Millane's 22nd birthday, Grace and Jessie, having just connected online, planned a date in Auckland's city center. Initial interactions seemed promising. Kempson was charming, and the pair appeared to really share a connection. As the evening progressed, they moved from one bar to the next, the atmosphere seemingly lighthearted. However, beneath the surface, inconsistencies in Kempson's stories began to reveal themselves to Grace. The night took a fateful turn as the pair ended up at Kempson's city apartment. Little to Grace's knowledge, she had walked straight into the carefully constructed trap set by a manipulative killer.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder. We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City. And then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me, because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was, at least in my mind I'd feel safe.
Within the confines of Kempson's tiny apartment, all impressions of normalcy suddenly crumbled. What had begun as an ordinary date took a sinister turn. Kempson's violent nature erupted, fueled by a twisted obsession and a lack of empathy. The details of Grace's final moments, later revealed during the trial, are heartbreaking and horrific. While evidence suggested the possibility of a consensual encounter, Kempson's actions escalated into a horrific move. In a brutal attempt to gain control and dominance, Kempson strangled Grace during intercourse, pinning her down and applying relentless pressure to her neck.
She started talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey, and she told me that there's a few things she likes doing. We started having, I guess, more violent sex. We ended up on the floor, and we kept going on the floor. Then she took a photo of my genital area, and so I obviously took photos of her too, and then we kept going. She told me to hold her arms tighter, and then she told me to hold her throat.
In the cold aftermath, Kempson didn't call for help or show an ounce of remorse. Instead, with a chilling calculation, he embarked on a grotesque cover-up. He purchased cleaning supplies, then contorted Grace's body into a suitcase. Grace's disappearance gradually became more apparent in the coming days. When she failed to respond to birthday wishes from her family, they raised the alarm. Meanwhile, New Zealand police launched a meticulous investigation, determined to uncover the truth behind her disappearance. Detectives tirelessly reviewed CCTV footage, piecing together Grace's last known movements. The images revealed her and Kempson leaving a bar and entering his apartment complex. With their suspect identified, investigators focused their efforts on Kempson. Kempson, initially feigning ignorance, spun a web of lies, but the authorities were relentless. Confronted with the mounting inconsistencies and undeniable proof of his involvement, Kempson was arrested and charged. Driven by a haunting suspicion born from Kempson's cell phone data and CCTV footage of him purchasing a suitcase along with other supplies, police launched a focused search in the dense Waitakere ranges. Tragically, their fears were confirmed when they discovered Grace's body, concealed in a shallow grave off a remote trail. This heartbreaking discovery brought a semblance of closure to the search. Examiners detailed the physical evidence linking Kempson to the crime scene. This included CCTV footage of him purchasing supplies. Moreover, her blood work came back to reflect how she had a massive amount of alcohol in her system, something Kempson might have manipulated her into taking.
And after that, the pathologist, the specialist doctor, will perform a post-mortem. They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that? Did you kill Grace Millane?
They sought to portray Grace as somehow complicit in her own death, cruelly blaming the victim and adding insult to the family's grief. They alleged that Millane was the one who had an interest in bondage and sadomasochism, and had asked Kempson to choke her during the consensual adventure. While they acknowledged that Kempson had tried to hide and bury the victim's body, they contended that this was only because he panicked. Kempson's defense lawyer also argued that Kempson's claiming to be wealthy and successful stemmed from his personal insecurity and was not a predatory move. However, this callous tactic, which was designed to sow doubt, ultimately failed. The jury saw through the lies and recognized Kempson's undeniable guilt. After 3 weeks, the jury returned a guilty verdict on November 22 of 2019, after deliberating for 5 hours. Justice was ultimately served. Jesse Shane Kempson was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. Grace Millane's tragic death ignited a global conversation about violence against women and the dangers of online dating. Her family, channeling their grief into action, established the Love Grace Initiative, a charity dedicated to providing support to victims of domestic violence. Thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts on this chilling story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily true crime stories.